Hello! Today we're going to be going over this manga. I was inspired by this manga, specifically the gun, the Kiru beam. It is a very good story, and the anime is coming out April 1st. But this was a very interesting part of the story. It's cool, it's sci-fi. It's basically a little laser beam that runs on a certain amount of shots within a battery, so it's like charged up to get more ammo. That's cool. The illustrator took lots of pains to lay out this gun. So you can see it almost at every angle throughout the book. It's everywhere. The main character holds it all the time. And I thought, hey, the detailed drawings are just so good that I can 3D print that. I can design that, 3D print that. So that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, so here are the parts for the gun, and let's just get right to assembling this. I'm going to assemble this upper section first, and then we will assemble these ones later. So I designed this in Fusion 360. It was a lot of fun and a lot of heartache. That's what I'll say. So a lot of these parts, I wanted this to be with screws and nuts. I wanted to be able to take it apart and put it back together whenever I want. So we got the nut super glued in there. I didn't really do a good job of creating a hole that the nut could like fit in and then not turn around in the... So the super glue holds the nut in place. So let's just start putting everything together. There we go. And then we got the hole for the screw. Unfortunately, this is the only screw out of all of the screws that requires an Allen key. So it would have been like one tool to assemble, but this was my first time designing something like this. So I'm okay with this mistake. Oh, whoops. I did not push this in all the way. Take this out. Okay, so let's get it all the way. The unfortunate part is, since this is my first time designing things that need to like fit within each other and 3D printing, the tolerances are like only possible on a computer. It's so the margins of error are just teeny. And then when you paint it, that's a whole nother coat that I did not account for. So yeah, and the tolerance of the screw is just barely scraping by, you see. But we're going to put it all the way down so it's flush and not poking out. Okay, it stopped. So we don't need this tool anymore. I'm just going to put this out of sight. So now this is flush. It will not interfere with the further part we will put in later. So there we go. This is the first part assembled. Okay, this second part is something I would not do ever again, but this is how it is right now. This part will be screwed in right here to this hole. This part will be sandwiched between this one and the one we just installed, because I have to assemble this inside for it to work. Okay, if you can see this, I got the part into the bottom piece, you see? So now I have to wedge it. Wedge the center, so try to fix that. Okay, there we go. So we're doing the next screw. We will be making sure it doesn't move ever again. This is the upper assembly completed. We got, the barrels ready to go. Everything else should be a little bit easier. Next, we are going to put in the trigger compartment. So this is a little bit of a pride for me. There's electronics in here. It's so small. And you can pull the trigger. Look at that. Let's look at how messy it is. So here it is. We got our little pivot. This little thing prevents it from like going farther. This is the resting place I want it to be at. And then this makes it so it doesn't go all the way and hit the back. So there's end and there's a beginning. Spring, battery switch is in there. LED right there. Hot glued. I soldered. Not that I've soldered before, but never straight onto a battery. I don't think ever this small. So let's close it all up. It's a nice little package. Okay, and then we're just gonna slide it in. It's a little bit tricky because I didn't account for the switch poking out, so sometimes it's a little bit, there we go, finicky. Okay, and that's put in, everything is good to go. Yep. Okay, cool. Does it look cool? Hopefully. I mean, so far the protective is like really keeping those scratches at bay. We got a little slot, a little triangular shape, triangular hole. We're gonna slide this in. It will cover this screw. One of the things I'm very proud of is how this assembles without any screws being shown, except for the one screw that is completely aesthetic. This screw does nothing. It's the one screw that you can see. So we're covering that screw up. You're not going to see that, so we're going to just slide them on each other. There we go. Clicks in place. And so this is the complete upper. This is actually a separate piece that I slid in earlier. It's a little bit annoying to pull in and out, so I just left it in. Okay. This piece goes in next. This is the wire. So in the reference, it's a really thick wire. I was going to use electrical wire, but it was a little too thin, at least what I had. So that is 3D filament, 3 millimeters. And I did a heat gun treatment to it, and I like shaved it with a X-Acto blade, and it fits so well. And next piece that we're going to use is this. There's a little groove that this fits in, and it's good. I did not even model that hole. I just said that's for future. That's for future, but I'm not doing it right now. And it worked out. Rare, but good. There we go. See how it fits. So we got some holes here that are going to line up with these. Right here. Okay, seems like that is where it needs to be, and we're gonna do this. Screw these in. Now these little towers I'm screwing into have little slots that I put nuts into. Not a great design. The walls of the towers are just not thick enough, so this torque is too much sometimes, and it can break them. So I'm just going to be careful. This one has broke. This one, it became broke. It has been broken by me. And I just glued a nut on top. I don't even know if it works yet. I haven't tried it. Okay, we'll stop it there. So we're almost done. Look, okay, look, it's already looking more like a gun. This side completely finished. Now we are just gonna do the last couple things before I put the cover on and seal the inside up. I know the inside doesn't look very pretty, but it's not meant to be seen. We got some mechanisms in here that don't really work, but they're a good idea. This is the battery, and you can hear a magnet on the inside, and there's a hole on top. So the idea was to slide this in and then there's magnet and this plate that moves, and you can like push it up. The idea was that I was going to have the battery go in, and the peg was going to push the magnets apart. Push the one that's inside the battery out so that it's not strong enough to hold and the weight of it falls. So, you know, you push it in, it falls out. The unfortunate thing is my design is so precise that the paint on this battery makes it so that it's like jammed in there. So I'll do it. Oh, actually that wasn't that bad. Okay, so it is now magnetized in pretty flush at the bottom. The idea was to push it up, the magnets would separate and it would fall out, but the friction of the battery does not allow it to fall. And also I think the strength of the magnet is a little too much on the inside. So anyway, battery is in. That's how it looks on the inside, that's how it looks on the outside. Let's close it up. There we go. Last screw. Again, the whole idea, but I want to use this together. I want to use the ends so maybe that's where I got it. I'm going to show you the but make sure you can see it. So, okay, here I got it. Yeah, good. Basically, I need to make this flush. So this nut will be, this screw will be covered. So, I mean, it looks done. Last piece, this is magnetized. We have a whole bunch of magnets, and it's just to attach it and cover that last screw. So here we go. This is the Kiru beam. This is the gun. Kiru beam, Kiru beam. This is the main, this page inspired it all. Look at these detailed images. You can see everything. Enough to make it. So this is the Kiru beam. I actually don't know if that is a light. I just made that up. But it's a light on this one. And this has a little bit of a rock. But it's kind of fun to play with. So this manga was really cool. I was inspired, and then I made the gun. I try to stay consistent with the design, even if it was a little bit different at multiple pages. And I try to make it like a toy. Something that gets put together and does things. Does that, and it does that. And then the button doesn't work. But it does come out. If the button worked, that would have been like knocked out of the park. But you know, it stays in. Kiru Beam! I'm so excited to watch this anime. It's a really good manga. I would recommend it. I would not recommend making this. This was a nightmare. This was torture. I just know for the next time how to make it better. So that is what I learned. That is the Kiru Beam. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, let me know. Give a like. Tell me what you think in the comments and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.